What's good everyone, you dig, 4 eyes, 2 G's here, and today we're here to talk about 6ix9ine. And rather than focusing on the unfortunate predicament he finds himself in today, instead I wanted to focus around his come up and look at his rise to stardom. And before we get into the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow your boy in all social medias, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Also, let me know in the comments below how you guys are feeling about Dummy Boy and how it compares to day 6ix9ine. But moving on, and let's bring it back to before Gummo. So before Gummo put him into the wider hip-hop consciousness, 6ix9ine operated in a very underground YouTube based lane, and you can still find his older videos today that gave him this start. Initially it was his abrasive sound and eye-catching visuals that would get him attention, and running around with the likes of Zilla Kami he would begin to make a name for himself. However, it wasn't until he linked up with Trippie that his name would start to become known in the wider hip-hop scene. As we know, Trippie initially blossomed before 6ix9ine, and for a minute was actually bigger than him, as Love Scars became the first song of his to hit in mid 2017. And with Trippie blowing up around this time with Love Scars, it led to the rest of his music on a Love Letter to You 1 blowing up, with Poles becoming a pretty big song at that time. And as Trippie was coming out of the underground and moving into a more mainstream lane, this would be the first time hearing of 6ix9ine for a lot of people. Keep in mind that this was months before Gummo, but it went deeper than this, because when the two began to very publicly beef, Trippie, having the bigger platform at that time, would help give 6ix9ine more publicity. And although it wasn't good publicity, as we've seen, people are willing to look past the charges, so Trippie kinda helped 6ix9ine at that time beefing with him. And these events led up to create the perfect storm for Gummo to hit like it did, because there was such a large audience of people who had heard 6ix9ine on Poles, seen his name around because of their beef, the allegations, or seen his face on social media memes, but had never properly sussed his music and given him a chance. And Gummo was the first time he had dropped music for a while, so when it dropped, people were already curious about him, so that gave him a huge opportunity to capitalize on. And because Gummo was such a fire track, it couldn't have worked better for 6ix9ine. And there were so many factors at play that made the song so special and one of a kind at that time. Firstly, it was the actual song, with his hard-nosed delivery, anthemic energy, and the exceptional Pierre production. But secondly, it was the visuals and aesthetic. Sure, there wasn't exactly anything new about the concept of a gang-themed video, but it was so in your face and unrelenting that it demanded your attention. So that's what kinda led up to Gummo being able to take off like it did. And Trippie used to troll 6ix9ine by saying that he made his career, but it's kinda true in a way, because Trippie did give 6ix9ine a lot of publicity and notoriety. And moving on, I wanted to touch on a few other aspects that have played a role in 6ix9ine's continued success since Gummo. I'm not going to touch base on everything, so don't expect me to cover it all, but just a few key things. Firstly, 6ix9ine's ability to manipulate the internet and keep his name in people's mouths was unrivaled, and although it would unfortunately be a part of his downfall, it also played an instrumental part of his success. And it's a touchy subject because on one hand, the Treyway movement with all the beefs, shootings, and the sheer reality of it all should not be praised, and it's something that in hindsight we can see was displaying very real crimes to the world and putting a face and name to what was going on. But there's no denying that a part of his allure as an artist was just that, the sheer reality of it all, and seeing him walk around unfazed and talk as if he was invincible forced you to pay attention. And that's the key phrase I want to end the point on, because don't get this twisted, I don't want to glorify his antics at all, because we shouldn't joke on or glorify people losing their freedom. But 6ix9ine was great at making you pay attention to what he was doing. Whether it was this beef or this snippet or this interview, it was all marketing, and he was able to get eyeballs on him again and again. And more so than this was his ability to change up his sound to hit different demographics. Although his harder style displayed on tracks like Kruda was by far my favorite, his ability to show his diversity to pull off different styles on songs like Gotti or Fifi needs to be appreciated, even if you aren't a fan of the songs themselves. As I said in my video I recorded on him before Fifi came out, I think what he needed to do was try to switch it up to ensure his longevity and come with a style that could cater to the masses. And sure enough, that's what he did, and he was able to reach different audiences with each style. For example, he wasn't really getting that urban radio play or support, so he came with Fifi, which ended up peaking at number 9 on urban radio and was the first song of his to become a huge hit around the world, with it being the only song of his to be certified in countries like Sweden or New Zealand. And then you have Bebe, which hit that gigantic Latin market with the help of Anuel and sits at over 400 mil views on YouTube. And this segues to the next point, which is his networking skills. And to face all the media and public scrutiny that he has, but still be able to get cosigns from the likes of Nicki, 50, Kanye, and Anuel is a testament to his ability to network, and I think being able to grab all these names and get the attention of their audiences played a huge role in him constantly growing, because although it was him trying out different styles and executing them well, there's no doubt that songs like Fifi or Bebe wouldn't have been so huge without the boost that Nicki and Anuel gave them. And getting back to that style that he was more so known for on songs like Gummo, there is something unique about the pocket that he was able to find on these tracks, with his raw and energetic delivery really setting him apart from the current crop of artists. I realize artists have done this style before in the past, so I'm not saying that 6ix9ine invented this style by any stretch of the imagination, but in terms of today, in the mainstream, I feel like he was able to set himself apart. And even a year later, who else in the mainstream is making songs like Gummo? Nobody really, and this refreshing sound he was able to bring to the public was huge for him. Furthermore, he knows how to roll out a song and build up hype for a release. And this goes back to the point about him manipulating the internet. 6ix9ine's use of viral snippets again and again created this tangible anticipation on the internet every time. And he isn't unique for this because it is an extremely popular thing to do nowadays, but he was very good at it. And that's all from me today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know in the comments below how you guys are feeling about 6ix9ine's new project Dummy Boy. Also, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow your boy in all social medias, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video.